great customers are the ones that also value our time. They trust us to be the experts in building the home. One thing I think is really important is showing to our customers, future customers, that we are real people.
We've got great people. If there's problems that are going to come up, which you know will happen, you've got a team behind you to help solve those, and that's what makes work fun.
There's not a plethora of people that know how to build custom homes. Welcome to episode number 2 of our podcast. My name is Jeff Tait. I'm president and founder of Estait Construction. And today I've got Blake Vanderstek on with me. He's our VP of Construction and Development. Well, great to have you on, Blake. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no worries. This thing on? I'm sure I'll crack some jokes when I get nervous, Jeff. I'll throw some jokes out there. So if you get them or you don't, that's great.
No, I love it.
Glad to be on.
You know, we've been working together for about a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe kind of talk about how you got in touch with us and how you started working.
For sure.
Working with us.
Like you said, I've been here with you a year and a half now. Before that, we can maybe dive into a little more of my construction experience later, but we had mutual contact with my real estate broker in the brokerage I'm in as a sales agent. And the funny joke is 2 contractors walk into a day spa and meet each other. That's where we met. There was an event through Ivy Avenue Real Estate where we got invited to go to Fika Spa and enjoy those services, right? And that's where I met you the first time and just kind of chat a little bit. And then I think a month or 2 later, just clicked in my head, I should see what Jeff's doing, see what he's up to. And that's when I reached out to you.
A shout out to Jason and Ivy Avenue Real Estate.
Right,
They've done a lot of great stuff for us and appreciate them. They held that event, and events like that are awesome. You look back on that and how you came on board and how everyone else on our team has come on board I remember when you reached out, I didn't really have a position at the time.
Right.
But we went to lunch, I got to know you a little bit, and I just thought, I was like, I got to find a position for Blake, just like I had to find a position for everyone that has made sense to come onto our team. Maybe let's go into your construction background. I mean, Blake, you've got a degree in construction management. You've
Right.
worked different construction jobs all throughout your youth and worked for high-end builders in the past. Maybe just kind of talk about your experience in construction.
Ever since I was a teenager, I was kind of a grunt laborer for landscaper, pool installer and stuff like that. So I've kind of always gotten my hands dirty. Started there, and then obviously went to school at Brigham Young University and got my construction management degree. Great degree, learned a ton. After that, I started working for some other companies and other builders, and got to a point where I said, I should get my contractor's license and become my own general contractor. Even if I'm working for somebody else, I think it's just good to have for other jobs and stuff I could be doing on the side there. So I've been a licensed contractor for about 10 years now. I got my license back in 2016. And you learn and you grow through these different experiences, right? Different jobs, they offer different things. And one job I had, I was working for a very high-end custom home builder. And in construction, you kind of you got to work. You got to earn your stripes. You got to get into it. You got to get your hands dirty. And I remember the first day on that job, after coming out of school, having a construction management degree, kind of thinking I was the bee's knees. And I got handed a vacuum and said, go vacuum the carpet. And, it was a little bit humbling. It's definitely one of those. But if you kind of look into it, you are earning your stripes. You're getting that experience. And even if it's vacuuming carpet, that led to many more opportunities because they saw I could work, right? And when you can work and your employer sees that, they trust you and start giving you more work like that and bigger projects. So I have had a lot of experience. And then when I got my license and started doing my own thing, I honestly told myself I'd never work for anybody ever again. It's nice to be your own boss and set your own schedules and do that. But once I met you, when you talked about that, I reached out to you, there was just something, I don't know why I reached out. I just kind of wanted to see what's going on. And now I look back and think, that was a great decision. Just the team culture you've built, the company we have here, it's pretty unique to what I've seen in home building. And that's, I think, what sets us apart from others and really attracts clients, attracts work is our team.
I think so too. Yeah, I love what you said about that. I think about when I was on my own for the first little bit and you spend a lot of time on your own.
Yep. Gets a little lonely.
It is. And we've talked about that. It's lonely being on your own. And I missed being a part of a good team. And so that was one thing that out of all the things that I'm most proud of, our team is for sure.
Absolutely.
Just the best thing that it's fun to come to work, and you enjoy the people you work with and get along with them, have fun with them too. It's so.
For sure. And the stress of the work don't go away, right? There's still stress. There's different things. But when you have a good team to help manage that stress, you're not having that added stress of, man, I wake up and it's like, I don't want to go to work. I haven't had that. And it's one of those things where, if there's problems that are going to come up, which will happen, you've got a team behind you to help solve those. And that's what makes work fun, right? Is being able to solve problems with a good team culture.
I love your story about getting your construction management degree, getting a job with a high-end home builder, custom home builder, and then they hand you a vacuum or a broom
Right.
on the first day. So I think a lot of people see us on Instagram. They think, what a glorious, glamorous, sexy industry construction is. And we see a lot of beautiful things and a lot of great properties that we get to be a part of. But what a lot of people don't see is you get your degree and you've got, land this job and you get handed a broom. So I was just thinking last weekend, I was laying concrete blankets at 9:00 at night. It's 30 degrees and it's Friday night. Stuff like that happens. Maybe going back, like, what would you say to someone that's going to get their construction management degree? What can they expect? What kind of rewards are they going to get for sweeping floors?
I can tell you right now, you go get your construction management degree, you may think you're hopping right into some type of management role, or, you're not getting your hands dirty, but honestly, you wouldn't want it that way. You'd want to get in there, get dirty, get the experience. The degree is great because you learn how to learn, right? You learn how to adapt. You learn how to go about situations. Also learn a lot of good stuff about scheduling and the technology behind construction. I mean, you can see right now I've got blue spray paint on my hands, right? Like even to this day, being this far down the road after having my degree, we're still getting our hands dirty. It's that experience. And like you said, you were throwing concrete blankets down as the owner of the company. It's construction's a get it done mentality. And sometimes that's what it takes. But I do encourage, if you are thinking about getting a degree, I do encourage it. I'm not going to tell you no to schooling or education, but I also maybe encourage trade school. I think that way you can gain experience while going through that schooling process to get kind of a jump start on your career.
Don't get me wrong. We still like driving around and getting drinks and going to the gas station.
For sure.
That's not all it is, right?
Right.
We talked about our team a little bit, that we're just so proud of everyone that's on our team. It's a really fun environment. We've got a great culture. And I think it's really great to see from your perspective, working from another similar company, similar size. What's some of the things that drew you to our team? And what are some of the things that you think makes our culture unique?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to the first time we went out to lunch, right? We talked before, but then we actually sat down to lunch and kind of talked about that. And that did attract me to this company is we're a very similar spot in life. We have families, and that's our main thing, right? Obviously, we got to work to provide for them. But one of the first things you said was, if you have a kid that has a program at school, go to it, right? Like if you need to take some time off here to hit the kindergarten program or do whatever, do it. And I think that really attracted me to you is the culture, right? We don't necessarily track hours. We don't necessarily say, well, you got to work this much a week. It's more get the job done, but also take care of your family, take care of the situation outside of work, because that's number one. And obviously work is important because we want to have a successful business and successful product. But that really drew me to you as your culture. I could feel that you were a human. Sometimes I think we get employed by certain companies and we feel like, yeah, they're looking at the bottom line and they don't necessarily care for those below them or those who work with them. But I didn't feel that with this company. I really felt like each team member is valued. And since I've come on about 18 months ago, we've grown, right? We've added several project managers. And I think with each of those hires, you've hit the nail on the head with who these people are, right? We have the same values. We have the same core, and we're hard workers. That doesn't mean we work less hard or we're not lazy. It's just you've found a culture that cares about the individual while working super hard.
It is amazing. Yeah, we've got so many great people that work hard, but I think it is important, and it's nice being a small business that we can be flexible, and we do care about people. I always say all the time, we spend probably more time with each other than we do our own families.
Right.
With all the time we spend at work. So I think it's pretty easy to see when the job's getting done or if it's not getting done. But yeah, I love that. If you have something you got to be to for one of your kids or for any family member, we want you to go and do it. Yeah, so I think culture too is a huge part of attracting custom clients that want to build houses with us. How have you seen that with our culture, our design team, our project managers, just everyone hopping in, even our excavation team? Like, how have you seen that culture be beneficial for a custom homeowner?
I've seen that in a few aspects, and I'll try and answer that question, but I do want to address for subcontractors. I almost think sometimes subcontractors have some FOMO if they're not working with us. I think they love working with us. And it's pretty crazy. I've on this project I'm working on, there's a few things that had to get buttoned up before we start doing the next trades, right? And I'm able to call these guys up and just say, hey, like, I know it's a tight crunch. What can you do for us to get out and maybe fix this or change that? And they will drop everything and come to our jobs. I think that says a lot about us. because we're not sitting there trying to haggle them for the lowest price. We're not trying to cheat them out of work they're doing. That comes down to our culture, right? And then that translates to the homeowners because we're getting their job done quicker, right? Changes always are going to add time, but we honestly just had a change up there at that project that didn't delay us one bit. And that's because I could call the subcontractor and say, hey, can you guys come out and do this? Can you help us out? And they came right away. And honestly, that speeds up the project so the homeowners are impressed. I was talking to a homeowner the other day and they were saying, you're building it this fast, and they're blown away. But these subcontractors are our team. We don't consider them necessarily, I almost don't love the word subcontractors because I feel like they are part of our team. And as we treat them right, they treat our clients right. And honestly, it's great for us.
You know what? I love everything you said about that. And I think they are part of our team. And I like calling them trade partners a lot of,
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
We'll still slip in subcontractors, but they are part of our family. They're part of our team. And when you're thinking about how that plays into a customer experience, it's efficiency. Right. And, a lot of people think, I got to get at least 3 bids on every trade. And I don't want to say that thinking that like we don't get multiple bids on trades, but having someone that's going to show up when you need them and not delay the project, I mean, how much is that going to save the customer?
Right.
When you can get a project completed on when you said you're going to get it completed and save that construction interest and just have guys show up when you need them to show up, that's worth so much more than trying to save $500 on a bid from someone that you've never worked with before. So most of our trade partners have been with us for years. And I think that culture goes from paying them on time, being organized, having everything they need when they show up to do the job, plans, details, specs, ready to go. They love that. And I've heard it from several of our trades. Like you said, I've had multiple ones say that we are their favorite contractor. And maybe they're
awesome.
Maybe they're just saying that to our face sometimes, but I really do believe that we are on a lot of them. And if we're not, we want to try and be their favorite contractors. That means they're going to be excited to show up. And that translates to the customer. When you got people that are excited to show up on their job, they're going to do a good job. Yeah. And they're going to leave it clean. And so I think that's a huge part of our culture.
And one thing I absolutely love that you provided for this company and allowed us to do is we go pick up drinks for our subs. Like it'll be a hot summer day and I go around and at one point we had 20 plus people in one of the houses at one time. I went to every single one and asked them, what do you want to drink? What do you want to drink? And a lot of them were like kind of surprised, right? Like, you're going to buy me a drink? And it's so funny. It's like $3, right? Per person.
Yeah.
But I took all their orders, went to the gas station real quick, grabbed them all, handed them out. Obviously, it's not about the $3 drink, right? We know that's they can go buy a $3 drink. It's not going to hurt them one bit. I think it was the fact that I paid attention to them and that you're the same way, right? Like, take care of your trade partners, take care of your clients, take care of your team, and they'll work their hardest for you.
They will. Take care of them and they'll take care of you for sure.
Yep.
Okay, so Blake, you're VP of Construction and Development. That's been really awesome to see you step into a leadership role and be over our project managers. So our project managers have grown quite a bit the past several months. We've got 4 awesome guys that do an awesome job. And so maybe walk us through, what your position looks like for a new client coming on. Like, how are you going to be involved through pre-construction and then throughout the build of their home?
For a project manager, which we call them project managers here, right? They wear several hats. They can be called superintendents. Pretty much the project manager is going to be your construction side of things. We talked last time about Asia being over design, right? And the project managers will be over the construction, being on site and stuff like that. And we do have a pretty intensive pre-construction process so that we can plan properly and do all that. And we like to have our project managers go to all those meetings that they can. We obviously get they're busy, that they have jobs they got to be at. But if they can hit those meetings and be part of that pre-construction, I think it's super important for them to be enveloped in the job from day one in pre-construction. They learn kind of what their feels are with their styles and all that, kind of helping out in that design process from a construction side to say, oh, that does work, or oh, that can't work, or this will cost money, or it'll be less money, is super beneficial to a client so they can get a kind of a forecast on what their house may cost or something they may need to cut back on because it may be a little more expensive on this thing or another. We love that those project managers want to be at those meetings to get to know the client, number one, so the client knows, hey, this is the person I'm going to be talking to during the construction. And then number two, just to know the job better. If you know the job better, then you're not going into it kind of blindly and you have kind of a plan of what you're going to do once construction starts.
That is, we have a pretty robust pre-construction process, right? That's really helped us to get a good plan for the house. But maybe after construction starts, what's your checkpoints with the project managers? How often are you checking in with them? What are you doing weekly to make sure that they have the leadership and the things they need to
Right.
be successful?
So being over construction, I try to at least hit those jobs once a week for each of our project managers to go over their jobs. And that's just simply going to the job, doing a walk, looking what progress has been made, catching maybe things that I've experienced in the past that they may not know of. You know, it's definitely not micromanagement. I think it's kind of standing in the same position they are, putting an extra set of eyes on it and helping just lead them through the process, because we all have different experience, right? And so we may not catch something that someone else might not. They've even caught stuff before where I haven't. And I think it's super beneficial to be with them and know that their projects matter to me as well, right? I'm not just going to be in the office and never coming out and seeing their jobs. I feel like I'm a project manager myself. And so walking their jobs, making sure they have what they need, maybe even going to meetings they can't be to, just making sure that they have the resources so they can do their best job is super important.
No, I agree. I think one of the things too that we've done an awesome job with is communication. And, you know, think about building a custom home, early construction in general. I think probably one of the biggest complaints customers have is the lack of communication.
Absolutely.
And so maybe walk us through some of the things that you've implemented that have helped our customers feel involved. And maybe when they can't be on the job site or might be out of state or whatever,
right?
How are they connected and how do they get updates on their jobs?
Yeah, for sure. No, that's communications number one with project managers to the client. And we have a super cool software called JobTread that keeps our schedules, that keeps our communication, as well as another communication software called Pronto. And every day we let our project managers know at the end of the day or wherever throughout the day as things are happening, hop onto that software, write those notes down. There's a thing called daily logs. So pretty much just tracking what you've done for the day, who showed up to the job, what the plan is for the next week, just pretty much dumping all that info for your job out of your head into this software so others can see it, so you can have it noted down kind of like a journal. Clients have a way to go on there too and see all that. So they can see at the end of the day, okay, what got done on my job today? Not every client's there and can visit the job site all the time. Out of staters probably only come a handful of times, right? And so having that software for those daily logs is crucial in my eyes for the communication purposes, for updating. And then we also have each PM at the end of every week kind of just put a synopsis together of everything that happened that week, kind of a, you know, from Monday till that Friday, what happened, but then also from the next Monday to the next Friday, what's going to happen. And those kind of come in the form of an email, right? We send those out. And those are just pretty much the daily logs put together. There's so much information there that when you sum it up in one email at the end of the week, we've had so many clients say, holy cow, we've never had this before, right? Like we've talked to other people who've built homes and they don't hear for a couple weeks what's going on. They're hearing every day. It's a daily update.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want that on their house, right? It's the biggest investment you're probably going to make in your life. So why would you not want to know who was on that job that day, what's coming up, and what the plan is?
You know, it's so good. Yeah, I think there's so much that goes on every day. But since we've implemented that, just writing down the bullet points of what happens and our customers can see that, since we've implemented that, like the questions from customers have gone down. They're fully aware of what's going on. And I always say, like, when people are coming and asking us what's going on with their job,
right?
I think we know we messed up.
Right.
But like when they have those weekly updates even, and then they can log into JobTread and see what's going on.
I think their trust in us goes up, right?
It does. It goes up. They're very connected to what's happening every day and what the recap was for the week. It's been awesome to see. And I think even, you know, the pictures have been awesome too. Even just one or two pictures. You know, someone who lives out of state, they see a picture and that's exciting, you know? So it's just little things that make a big difference.
Yeah, I think communication sets us apart. Communication in the moment as well, right? When something happens, that's cool on a job site, I send it right away through Pronto and the client can see it right away. I think it's so cool to keep them in touch. Like we talked about with our trade partners, we are a team. I feel like we're a team with our clients too. I feel like they can give their input. But honestly, with doing these daily logs and these weekly emails, the trust is built so much that I think it takes a lot off their plate, right? They don't have to come ask, well, why is this like this? Or why is this happening? Because they already know.
Yeah. And I think we're excited for them, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of care that we have for our homes. Is it's obviously not our home, but we're excited for them when we see something like that. I love seeing you or anyone send those pictures over, those videos. Like, hey, look at this door. Look how amazing it looks. And we're excited for them. We're excited to build their home and And I think that goes a long way when, and thinking about some of this, thinking about going into construction too, like it's exciting to see, these things get built,
Right.
and we want to be a part of that. We don't necessarily get excited about building apartment buildings or multi-unit things like that, but these custom homes are amazing. They're all different, and it's exciting to see them get built.
And to that point too, I talked earlier about, our jobs won't be taken by tech necessarily, but that doesn't mean that tech can't help our industry, right? With these softwares that we have, I think they're beneficial. Construction's still, I think, still very paper and pencil type of deal, but I think tracking these on software so that it's a right. The client's not seeing my piece of paper at the end of the day. They're not seeing what I've written down, but if I put in that software, they are. So I think tech is a huge advantage that we have and that we've used to our benefit, to the client's benefit, to our trade partners' benefit, to communicate, to make sure we're all on the same page. Technology is amazing. It's still changing. It's still going to grow. Obviously, we have AI, a big part of just our world right now. I don't think that's going to get to a point where robots are doing our jobs, but I do think technology will help us become better in what we do.
Okay, so one thing that's really big for us is pre-construction. Well, that's obviously before the construction begins. We don't know how to price a job or how to give a schedule if we don't know what we're building, right? So we spend a lot of time going through, which, that can really move as fast as a homeowner wants to move, as quick as they can make decisions. But I think that's one thing that's very underestimated when building a custom home. And a lot of people, this is their first custom home with us. They might have built a production built home that might have 2 or 3 options for every single part of the home. But with us, custom homes, the sky's the limit. There could be thousands of decisions that need to be made. So I think that's probably the biggest thing is that people underestimate is what goes into the planning to get your plans, to get your selections all sorted out before you start building. And we like to have that before we start. But what's something else that you would say to someone that's looking to build a custom home? What would you tell someone that they need to plan for, be prepared for, that they may not understand?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head, right? Like proper planning is huge. I think sometimes we get eager to build and get eager to get something in the ground so it looks tangible, right? It is tangible and we get moving on it. But that pre-construction process, that doesn't mean you're locked in and that's what it is. Because I've had several times where clients, they come out to a home, and if you look at a plan on paper, sometimes you can't visualize what that's actually going to be in real life, right? Until it actually is built. Some can, right? With being in the industry long enough, it's easy to start visualizing different changes or different ways to do things, but clients sometimes struggle with that. You're going to have clients come out to the job. They may walk it during framing and think, oh, I didn't think it was going to look like that. Or, oh, I didn't think that door was here instead of there, because all they've had to look at right now is a piece of paper that says this and it's 2D, right? That's something that kind of catches clients off guard is, hey, what if I go through this house and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I want to change my mind? Because there's 1,000 decisions they have to make in the pre-construction phase, but all of a sudden you see it in person, you may think that's not what I wanted.
Yeah, or one just happened recently, right? With the 2 French doors.
Yeah, door swings. I think that's a huge one.
Yeah, on plans they open up exactly how the plan called for them. But maybe let's walk through what happened with that, and just walk through what happened with that job.
Yeah, so clients walk through the house and they're checking it out. We're kind of past forward, about ready to finish installation, start drywalling, and they kind of found a pinch point that was drawn in their plans exactly. We did it per plan, but it's kind of a pinch point with doors opening in, and then other doors being close to that. And so they obviously expressed a concern. We looked right into it and called our trade partner right away and said, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Is it possible? Can we change it? What's it going to be? I think that gives our clients the trust to know that they can bring stuff up. I think sometimes they worry about, oh, this is just how it is, so I'm not going to say anything. But we're pretty transparent. We're transparent with each other here. We're transparent with our trade partners. We're transparent with our clients. And so they expressed that concern. We called our guy up right away. He said, yeah, hey, it's a change. So obviously it's going to take some money to change it because we got to get labor out there to flip that around. But we did it right away. So that's something they probably would have never, they didn't see or think about it before now until it went in and got installed.
Yeah.
So that stuff's going to happen. And I think being fluid with your customers, being fluid with your team is the best way to go about it, because there will be things that you may change your mind on.
Yeah. I think that's so important because, how many dozens of times have each of us walked through that hallway? And we've got doors painted out on the floor. Like we know which way they're going to open. The architect didn't catch it. We didn't catch it. What's important to let people know is this home is the first time it's ever been built.
Right.
We've never built this home. You know, if you go to a production builder, they probably built that same home hundreds of times.
Yep.
So this is a custom designed home. No one's ever opened these doors this way.
And I let clients know it's their home too, right? I may have an opinion and I'll offer that opinion. I'll make sure we kind of chat about it to see if, oh yeah, that makes sense or that doesn't make sense. But in the long run, the client saw it, they want to change it. And so we did it, right?
It's not a spec. It's their home. If they want to make the change, we inform them and let them know what it is. And if they want to make it, then we're going to make it.
Yeah. So we've kind of talked about project managers, Jeff, right? What their roles are, what they do for project, kind of the kind of personality we're looking for. What would you say is an ideal client? Like, what do customers do, or what can they prepare for when they are building with us to help the process?
You know, I think communication on their end's a big part of it too. Being able to communicate with us what they like, what they want. That starts from the pre-construction process of what styles they like. Just feeling comfortable with us to let us know if it's going a direction they don't like, instead of waiting down the line.
Right.
So being able to be decisive is a big one. You know, I always tell people we'll move as fast or as slow as you want, because it really depends on, this is their house. They're the ones making the decisions. Great customers can make a decision to move on. And not to say that they might want to make a change later if they feel they got to make a change with that decision. There's just so many decisions that come at us that you've got to be able to make a decision else you're never going to get through.
We talk hand holding, which can kind of sound, you know, not so great, but I think this is the client's biggest purchase. They're throwing a lot of money out to build this house, to make decisions. The hand holding is a great thing. I think sometimes they may not be able to communicate what their style is or what they're looking for, but Asia and the pre-construction side and the design side does a great job of finding that, right? That makes it so much easier on the project management side when decisions are made, right? So we can keep moving our schedules. Obviously, there's times where a client may say, hold on a second, I want to maybe think about this or change something, and we get that those things happen. But if we have decisions made and the communication is clear, we cruise, we move.
If there's ever something that they don't like or something that happened, you know, construction's a messy process.
For sure.
Right? Like, we know there's hundreds of hands touching these homes. There's going to be mistakes. Our greatest customers, you know, they see someone on a job walk when they might be there on a Sunday afternoon walking through and seeing something, and they take a picture and send it to us.
Yeah.
I think for a customer, you got to communicate that stuff to us. Even if it's something they might not understand, they might think is a dumb question, but send it to us.
Yeah.
And we'll respond right away. So don't just let it go unnoticed. And then after drywall's up, say, hey, I noticed this. Like, is this going to be all right? You know, because we can't catch everything either.
Right.
So I think communication's huge, being decisive. And then I think working with us, they'll feel safe enough and get to know us to where we're so transparent.
Right.
And when stuff like that comes up, they just need to let us know.
And there are, right? This isn't their job. Their job's not to build the home. There's going to be things that they think may be silly questions, but we can just reassure them, say, no, that's how it goes. That's fine. Or like you said, maybe they catch something that we didn't. And so we can take care of it that way.
Yeah.
It's a great relationship. And I think when it's there, it makes the build quicker, smoother, saves them a ton of money, and then they enjoy the build.
Yeah. And now I'm thinking about it. Great customers are the ones that also value our time. You know, I mean, they trust us to be the experts in building the home. We trust them to be experts in their professions.
Yep.
You know, we're the ones that talk to our trade partners, right? Like, we're the ones that go over stuff with them. You know, we don't need our homeowners to come in and start bossing people around.
Right.
And
I'm not telling my tax guy how to do with taxes because I have no idea. That's up to him.
So they can talk to us. So that goes along with communication again. They communicate with us what they need, and then we'll handle it on the job site with whoever that professional is that might be a framer or a plumber or whatever. Like, that's our job to take that communication to them.
And we don't have to be experts in certain fields, right? I think we're experts in communication. We're experts in relationship management to try and connect the clients to those trade partners and kind of blend those together. I know a little bit about certain parts of framing or HVAC and plumbing. Like, we all know a little bit, but we don't have to be experts in certain fields. We should have to be experts in blending those roles, right?
Yeah, and I think about, you know, I guess kind of going off topic here, but all the project managers that have come to our team, all of them have experience in construction. You know, they're all young, but probably the biggest factor for us is if they work well with our team and they integrate with our culture and their personalities mesh with our team. For me, someone that can communicate and treat our customers with respect and hold their hands if they need to through a process, demonstrating those abilities And don't get me wrong, I love your construction management degree, and those are great. I think I agree with you that that's a great path to go for anyone that's looking to get into construction. But for us, communication, dealing with people and respecting them and having them have an enjoyable process, all of our project managers have that.
Oh yeah. I don't think there's any one of our project managers that would be scared or not like when a client showed up on the job site, right? That can be something I've had in the past where client shows up and you're like, okay, what's going to happen now? You know, what are they going to change? But here we have the processes in place and the communication in place already that we welcome homeowners to come on site and talk with us and say, hey, what's going on? Like, what, this is cool. Take some videos, stuff like that, where, you know, on other jobs in the past, it's kind of been a hiccup when the homeowner comes because maybe they don't trust us and they start going in and picking apart everything or thinking, hey, this isn't going right, or this isn't how it's supposed to be. We don't have that. And I think our project managers really show that with their people skills, their communication skills, and the clients feel great about coming on the job site, right? There's full trust. And once that full trust is there, then jobs go great.
Yeah. So recently, I think it's good to bring up this story that happened, you know, just to kind of show customer experience. You know, we just finished this beautiful home, 8,000 square feet. It's got a beautiful gym and really a lot of nice finishes. Within a few days of the customer moving in, we have a backup in the sewer line and floods 2 rooms in the basement, floods the bathroom, brand new house. And I want to preface this by saying that, you know, this was outside of our scope of work. It was tree roots in the existing sewer line, clear out near the road, which we didn't even touch. But, you know, it just goes to show one of those things that we always say construction's undefeated. There's always something to get through. It was late at night. It was actually on Halloween night when the customer noticed it and we get the call. We were there that night, 11 o'clock till 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was. The next morning, Aaron, our project manager, is there with me on a Saturday. You know, we're pretty defeated. You know, we just finished this beautiful home and, you know, it's an inconvenience for the homeowner. They've got this damage now. You know, we were ripping out drywall that day, drying it out, completely replaced those 2 rooms, repainted them, finished work, new carpet, everything, you know. It's an inconvenience for the homeowner. And you're thinking the whole time, like, man, do they just think we're total idiots? Right. Even though it's, you know, it's not necessarily 100% our fault. So that was kind of it. And then, you know, just last week, Aaron says, hey, we won't name any names here, but the homeowner told him, hey, we want to build again with you guys. We want to build our commercial facility with you guys. You know, it's easy to find the land. It's easy to get the financing, but finding a builder that we can trust, that cares, and that's going to do the right thing. You know, so it's just awesome to hear that, you know, we make mistakes, we mess up. There's too many moving parts to not, you know, you're not going to be perfect. Construction's going to win every time. But hearing that from a customer that went through a very inconvenient ordeal with us, to see that they would still trust us to build their next property, that was just awesome to see. Yeah, that's a pretty traumatizing experience. I'd feel like if I just moved into my brand new house and something like that happened. How did you taking accountability so fast, how do you think that helped the homeowner? How do you think they felt? So obviously they're in a time of panic. They're in a time of thinking, what is going on right now? How do you think accountability helped them? You know, I think it was huge. I remember hopping in my truck at 11 o'clock at night and I'm just thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do. I grabbed a bunch of towels and I started hitting the road, but yeah. I think they knew that I cared enough to show up. You know, we obviously figured it out and figured out what the problem was, but I think that's huge. And we tell all of our project managers that, like, there's going to be mistakes. We want them to be decisive and make decisions. But when there is a mistake, it's all about how you handle it. Are you someone the customer can trust to get it done, get it taken care of, and do the right thing? Well, and taking care of them even for something that was not even anything that was our fault, right? Tree roots grew through the line, and that's what caused the break and back up. And I think they realized that. They said, hey, Jeff's here immediately helping out, taking care of this, and it wasn't necessarily something he did. Right. So I think that goes a long ways with clients is knowing that we'll be there for them, and stuff's going to happen. Little things are going to happen. But if you take care of them, they're going to talk to their friend. They're going to talk to their neighbors about future work for you. It's the best form of advertising is take care of your client. Yeah. It's awesome to see when you have a problem and you do your best to make it right. It's the most rewarding when they refer you for another build or ask you to come and do something else for them. For sure. One thing I think is really important is showing to our customers, future customers, that we are real people, right? Like we we have families. We have, we're going through it. A lot of the same things that they are. And to our trade partners, to our clients, like, what do you think are some things that we do that show them that we're real?
One thing I really love that you planned this last year was like a movie night. Like you rented out a movie theater and invited clients and subcontractors or trade partners to that. It shows that we're people outside of work as well, right? That we want to maintain these relationships, not just necessarily for work. And I think that was really cool to like, how many comments did we hear after? Like, Jeff, Blake, this was so cool. Like, thanks for inviting us. This was a really neat idea. Yeah. Again, does that cost us money? Of course it does. But it's such a benefit to grow those relationships, to grow those connections we have with other people. I don't think you can put a price on it.
I think I love that. And I love the party that we threw for our trade partners up at our parade house last summer. In fact, one of our painters said, he's been painting homes for 25 years. This is the first time that someone's invited me, to a company party like that.
We like to work hard, and we obviously know that's where we support our families, right? With business and the work we get. But why not enjoy it? Why not have a good time? Why not let other people see that we are people and that we want to have a good time? We do some pretty dang good work, but we have a good time doing it. Just one last thing I want to say about our company and about project management is we have 4 project managers that I couldn't ask for anybody else. They are incredible guys that they're young, but they're learning a ton right now. They're willing to get their hands dirty and jump in right away. I think that's crucial to our success. We have varying roles in this company, but the project managers are the ones who are out there, making it happen once the planning's done. Love those guys. They do a great job, and I think that goes along with our whole team. We've got great people.
I've had multiple trade partners come up and say, Jeff, how do you keep finding these young project managers that know how to work? And couldn't agree more with what you said. They're all awesome. We trust them with so much. They're on site daily with these multi-million-dollar projects. They're doing an amazing job. Couldn't agree more.
I think a testament to that too is they are young. Like a lot of young kids nowadays don't necessarily want to jump into construction and work with their hands. They're more about the tech side, and that's great. Don't get me wrong, but I think we've got the guys who are driven and focused and want to do that. And I don't feel like I'm that old. I'm 37, but my kids, when I tell them I was born in the late 1900s, they laugh at me and think I'm a dinosaur. Honestly, their ages don't reflect their maturity and how driven and focused they are. I think they're well beyond their years, and it's a huge benefit and asset to this team.
Yeah, and we try and tell them too, like what an opportunity for them.
Huge opportunity.
I always tell them there's not a plethora of people that know how to build custom homes.
Right.
They're going to have a huge opportunity and a great future with just learning what they're learning right now. So we appreciate them. They're awesome and couldn't do it without them. And that's going to wrap us up for today. Thanks for joining us. Blake, thanks for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's been great talking with you and learning more about construction and project management. And if you're ready to start your build, reach out at estateconstruction.com.